Classroom.
Hush now, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up.
Microbiology. Let's talk about some cool topics that we're going to be going over. There's a lot to discuss. This is just some general things, and if you find something interesting that has to do with microorganisms, feel free to let me know about it, and I can come up with a lesson to hopefully make it interesting to other students as well. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The first topic, well, not the first topic, but a major topic this year, we have to talk about it, are viruses. And there's good viruses that we're going to learn about, things that might actually help us, that we can actually utilize certain viruses to fight off other infections that we have, that we could use viruses to actually inject new DNA into people that have genetic diseases, like blindness. We can have a genetically engineered virus that injects DNA that would stop the person from being blind. It's remarkable stuff that is going on. And there's real research to see that is going, that is happening. The bad. I don't really know if I need to, if I really need to go into the bad viruses out there. There's one going on right now that's killing lots of people. There's also others that go around and kill a lot of people. But I must tell you that for all the bad viruses that you know about, like the flu or coronavirus, HIV, there are many other viruses that have a very, very different experience with humans, that have a very, very different role in the ecosystem of microorganisms. And I think we're going to be able to explore some of that. Lastly, the useful, again, instead of viruses being our enemy, in a lot of ways, viruses can be our friend. And we can use them in the same way that we use other organisms that were larger, like farming organisms, like, cows and goats and all that kind of stuff, or even our pets. In those same ways that we can use them, viruses might be used in that same manner, okay? I'm not saying make viruses your pets, okay? I am simply saying that they are more useful than just our enemy, okay? Everything is not about killing viruses. In many ways, us understanding them is more important than just killing them. And I know a lot of people are going to be very much into hand washing and hand sanitizing right now. And you should be, because of what's going on. But normally, after this pandemic ends, because that's what pandemics do, right? Pandemics end. After this is all done, we're going to really need to have a conversation about, should hand sanitizer be used the way it's being used permanently? Are viruses really the enemy we must defeat and destroy? Or is that the exact mentality that gets us into problems, when we try to destroy instead of collaborate? We'll see where the year goes. Next up, bacteria. Now, I really love bacteria. It's weird, but if you like certain types of food, like yogurt, or even like vinegar, or even if you're getting down with your kimchi or any of those fermentations that are going on, your kombucha and all that kind of stuff, even hot sauce, that can have to do with bacteria. So it can be really useful. And bacteria also behave just like us. Bacteria have multiple languages. Bacteria have their own secret slang that only they know. Like when teenagers make up phrases that old people don't know, so that way teenagers could talk about things that they don't want old people to hear. Bacteria do it as well. Bacteria do it as well. It's remarkable stuff. Now, do we also have a problem with bacteria? Yes. There's other pandemics happening right now. There's scary ones happening right now. The pandemic of antibiotic resistance of bacteria that we can no longer treat with antibiotics is a horrible, horrible problem that we have not answered. And we will have to find answers to hopefully stop it from getting worse than it is. There's lots of different answers to that problem, and we'll talk about it. You might have learned a little bit about it in the past and living environment, but this year we're going to make it a little bit more something to really understand. I think it's very important to whether or not we have hospitals in the future. I think it's very important to whether or not we go on with medicine as we are. All right, here it is. All right, my favorite. My favorite is fungus. I love fungus. I have so much fun with fungus, okay? Fungus is all about fermentation, but fungus is more than that. And when I say fermentation, I'm talking about when you change like different types of solutions or foods and you turn them into a fantastic, flavorful experience that you wouldn't have known about before. Blue cheese can be one of these. Bread. I have loved baking bread during the lockdown. You make your own sourdough starter, which has to do with both fungus and bacteria living together, okay, in your flour, and it gives this great taste to your bread. Or, I mean, you could just use straight up yeast to make your pizza dough grow, okay? It makes your pizza dough get nice and fluffy, so that way when you cook it, it tastes wonderful. There's a lot of food in fungus. And one of those foods is mushrooms, right? It's mushrooms, of course it's mushrooms. You know what mushrooms are. But there's more to mushrooms than you might realize. Ladies and gentlemen, I propose that by the end of this year, I will be able to convince you that when people talk about Mother Nature, they're actually talking about mushrooms and the mycelium body of a mushroom. It's not the part you eat, it's the part underground, but we'll get to it. I also propose to you that fungus can be the leap forward we need with technology to make things reusable or easily disposable so that they have no negative environmental impact. There's some really cool stuff about fungus, and we're going to spend time getting into it. One more topic, and I think it's the coolest topic. Ladies and gentlemen, your last topic, come on. Your last topic is about biotechnology. We have the time to teach biotechnology in this class and to dig into what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, from people being able to find out if they have cancer by simply taking a quick test to see what DNA is showing up in their samples, to understanding that our gut microbiome might be something that we can adjust and change in order to solve massive health issues. It's a pretty remarkable thing, let alone, of course, like I said, biotechnology with the brain, where you could do Neuralink and you can infuse technology into it, being able to read your DNA so you know where your ancestors came from. I know I had my parents do that, and I found a remarkable story that was more complicated than just my grandparents. Some pretty cool stuff. That's in biotech too. Also things like resurrection biology, which is like, when we bring back woolly mammoths to this planet, should we? Can we? How's that gonna happen? All in there. Also, biotech means we get to talk about genetically engineering humans, which is already happening. There was a lot of development in this field going on before the pandemic, and I don't think the pandemic has slowed any of it down. In this field, you will see what might bring about the future of humanity, the future of civilization. Of course, like with all technology, could there be misuse of it? Could there be people who have ulterior motives to developing this type of technology? Yes, there could be. And we'll talk about some of them. We'll talk about people like biohackers and who are doing things with science that maybe we shouldn't be doing, especially if it's not in a lab and it's not under strict controls. But at the same time, If you have more access to this technology, you will become aware of it, and therefore you will be able to protect yourself at a better chance. There's a lot of issues with biotechnology, and I can't wait to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, besides just this, there's a whole lot more. And of course, at the forefront is going to be some of the things that are going on in our every day-to-day life. With that being said, hey, I think it was really cool getting to talk to you about some of these topics. Can't wait to tell you more. Bow. Will you be my lab partner?